Hello everyone, welcome to Genius channel. Today we are going to see some previous year physics questions of MBA exam. So we'll see the question number 51. See question number 51. Pressure of an ideal gas undergoing isothermal change is increased by 10%. Volume of the gas must decrease by about. Pressure of an ideal gas undergoing isothermal change is increased by 10%. So volume is becoming 10% more. So that is 110, 100 plus 10 by 100 into. So second volume, that is what happened to the volume? Volume is increased by 10%. So V2 is equal to 110 by 100 into V1. Sorry, here they are talking about pressure. Isn't it? Pressure is increased, not volume. Pressure is getting increased. So pressure is increased by 10%. So that means P2 is equal to 110 by 100 into P1. Now see, volume must decrease by about. You have to find out how much volume should decrease. Okay. Now see, this is an isothermal change. Okay. So isothermal change means what is the condition? Isothermal means isothermal. Isothermal means what? Isothermal means temperature is constant, isn't it? So when temperature is constant, we know that P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So apply in this relation and find out the answer. Or if you please try and let me know the answers. Okay. So did you get? So apply in this equation, what are you getting? So original pressure is P1. Original volume is V1. So second pressure, that is 110 P1 by 100, isn't it? Into second volume. Second volume is V2. So we have to find out V2. V2 is how much? Okay. How much decrease should happen? Now V2, how much volume should be decreased, isn't it? So listen, this V2. Okay, V2, I can write it as P1 V1 P1 V1 into 100 by 110 P1, isn't it? V2 is equal to P1 V1 into 100 by 110 P1. So this P1 and P1 will go. Now what you will get? V1 into 100 is equal to V2. V1 into 100. So 100 by that is a 110 over here. So that is V2 is equal to 10 by 11 V1. V2 is equal to 10 by 11 V1. Okay, we have to find the difference, isn't it? We have to find how much it should decrease by how much percentage. Okay, so how much it should decrease? Decrease means V1 minus V2, isn't it? So V1 is V1 minus V2 is 10 by 11 V1, isn't it? So what you get when you subtract? So 11 V1 minus 10, that is 1 V1 by 11, isn't it? 1, 10, 11 minus 10, 1. So 1 V1 by 11 is the decrease, isn't it? So divided by, so you have to convert this into percentage. So original V1 into 100. So what you get? V1 and V1 will cancel. You will get 100 by 11 percentage. 100 by 11 percentage. So 100 by 11 means that correspond to 0.9 percentage. So, when you convert that into percentage, you have to multiply with 100, isn't it? So you'll get 9 percentage. So 100 by 11 percentage, that means that is 9 point something, isn't it? So 9 percentage. Option B. Okay, so what is the relation that you have to understand? P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. In which case, when the change is an isothermal change. When the change is an isothermal change, P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So I wrote that relation. Then I have told this pressure is increasing by 10%. So it is 110 by 100 into P1. So I substituted here. Then I found out V2. Then what is the difference between V1 and V2? That I got 1 by 11 V1. Then converting that into percentage, you will get the answer as 9%. Okay. So answer is option B. So moving to the next problem, next question. Fahrenheit and Celsius are the two scales used for measuring temperature. If the numerical value of temperature recorded in both scales is found to be same, then what is the temperature? Then what is the temperature? Okay. So listen, Fahrenheit and Celsius are two scales used for measuring temperature. If the numerical value of the temperature recorded in both the scales is found to be same, what is the temperature? Options: minus 40 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Celsius, minus 72 degrees Celsius. All of you please try and comment your answers. Okay, so did you get the answer? Did anybody got the answer? Is minus 40. So answer is minus 40 degrees Celsius. So how did you do that? Listen, Fahrenheit and Celsius. So what is the relation between Fahrenheit and Celsius? So if you don't know, please write down. Relation is C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. Write down the relation between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit. What is that? C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. Now listen, they are saying that both are having numerical value of both Celsius and Fahrenheit temperature. Both are same. So the numerical value is same. So just like I am putting C equal to F is equal to X. So they are having same value. They are saying same value. So X by 5 is equal to X minus 32 by 9. X by 5 is equal to X minus 32 by 9. So now it's just a matter of cross multiplying and finding out 9x is equal to 5x minus 32 into 5, isn't it? 32 into 5. So what you get? You get 160, isn't it? So you'll get 160 is equal to 5x minus 9x, isn't it? So minus 4x. So it is x. X is minus 40 degree. That means the value corresponding to which the numerical value in both Celsius and Fahrenheit equal is minus 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so only you have to get the relation between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. What is the relation? C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. And we have the numerical value as same. So put X there. So X by 5 is equal to X minus 32 by 9. Then just cross multiply. You will get X is equal to minus 40 degree. That means at minus 40 degree Fahrenheit, if you check the corresponding Celsius, that will be also minus 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now how to convert Celsius to Kelvin? Celsius to Kelvin means you have to just add 373. If you add Celsius plus 373, you will reach to Kelvin scale. Okay, so here you need to know the relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay, and you already know the Celsius and Kelvin is related like this. So please copy down this. Going to the next question. Question number 53. The absolute zero, that is temperature below which is not achievable. The absolute zero, that is a temperature below which is not achievable. That means beyond absolute zero, we cannot have any temperature. Okay. So which value is known as absolute zero? From the options, which value is known as absolute zero? 0 degrees Celsius, minus 250, 275 degrees Celsius, minus 273 degrees Celsius, minus 300 degrees Celsius. Yes, correct. Answer is minus 273. Minus 273 degrees Celsius. Okay. So beyond this, that it's not possible, or below this, we cannot get any temperature. Okay. So below minus 273 degrees Celsius. So that is known as absolute zero. What is absolute zero? Minus 273 degrees Celsius. Okay, moving to the next question. When a solid is heated, it turns directly into gas. This process is known as sublimation. Okay, sublimation. Already in the previous video, we have seen change of state, isn't it? Change of state and terms associated with it. So solid to liquid means what? Solid to liquid is melting. Liquid to solid is fusion, or this can be also said as condensation. Liquid to solid, we can call it as condensation also. Then what is evaporation? Liquid to gas, that is evaporation. Okay, then what is diffusion? Diffusion means movement of molecules from one medium to another through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so that is not related to change of state. So to the change of state, the terms related as condensation, evaporation, sublimation. But here directly, solid directly changing into gas, that is sublimation. And camphor, naphthalene bonds, etc. are examples for sublimation. Camphor, naphthalene. So these are some items that undergoes sublimation. Camphor, naphthalene, etc. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Question number 55. The temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure is called its melting point. Melting point is of a solid is an indication of options: strength of intermolecular force, strength of intermolecular force of repulsion, molecular mass, molecular size. So I want you to comment your answers. Okay, so what is the answer? Yes, option A, strength of intermolecular force of attraction. So listen. So what are the three states of matter? We know: solid, liquid, and gas. So in case of solid, The particles are closely arranged. Particles inside a solid are closely arranged. So they are having strong intermolecular force of attraction. So when we supply heat, what happens? Or temperature, what happens? This starts to melt and full form liquid. Okay, so liquid means what? In liquid, the particles should be having some space between them, isn't it? Some space between them. So what is the indication of melting point? Melting point means it should overcome all this strong intermolecular force of attraction, isn't it? Then only space will come and it will flow. Okay, then it will become a liquid. So melting point is an example for, or is an indication for strength of intermolecular force of attraction. Strength of intermolecular force of attraction. Strength of intermolecular force of attraction. As I've already told, one of the feature of particles of matter is what? That is, the particles should attract each other. Okay. So that's about question number 55. So moving to the 49th question. See the 49th question. A balloon filled up with gas would only go up in air if it is filled up with a gas whose density is lower than air, gas whose density is higher than air, cold air, water vapor. Okay, so a balloon, for a balloon to go up, what should be there? Its density should be low, isn't it? Its density should be low. Its density should be lower than that of air. Density should be lower than that of air. Then only the balloon can go up. Otherwise, what happens? The balloon will come down. If density of the balloon is high, if the density of balloon is high, it will fall down or it will come down. Okay. So answer is gas whose density is lower than air. That means inside the balloon, if we are keeping a more denser air, means it will go down. But you have to keep a less denser balloon, air inside the balloon. Then only it will go up. Next question. Question number 15. Temperature of water at the bottom of a lake whose upper surface has frozen to ice would be around. Temperature of water at the bottom of a lake whose upper surface has frozen to ice would be around. Okay, so see what is the situation? Water, temperature of water at the bottom of a lake whose upper surface, in the upper surface it is having frozen ice. So below that what will be there? Below that the temperature will be 4 degrees Celsius. The temperature will be 4 degrees Celsius. So beyond or below this frozen ice, the temperature of water will be what? It will be 4 degrees Celsius. It will be 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so listen, what is the significance of 4 degrees Celsius? And what is the relation of the density? That also you need to know. What is the relation significance of 4 degrees Celsius with the, or how it is related to density? See, if this is density versus temperature of water, density versus temperature of water, then what happens is when temperature increases up to 4 degrees Celsius, up to 4 degrees Celsius, density increases. For water, okay, for water, up to 4 degrees Celsius, what happens? Density will be increasing. Now, after beyond 4 degrees Celsius, density of water will be decreasing. So, in this region, density increasing. In this region, density decreasing. So that is the importance of 4 degrees Celsius. That is the importance of 4 degrees Celsius. So that's all. We'll see in another video with more questions. Thank you so much.